Hello, who have I got?
Hello, Heidi.
Hey guys, how are you?
Okay, thank you.
You?
How are you?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Just a bit tired.
I'm a bit cold myself.
Oh,
It's a very cold day.
Yeah, it has.
No, it's supposed to rain for forever, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah,
really?
that's what my forecast is saying. Not best impressed.
No.
Well, my garden, everything's dying, so I want rain.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it has been very dry, hasn't it?
Mm.
Well, hopefully you guys will warm up a bit when we do our class. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure we will, I usually do.
I don't know if Mum might be late or if she's joining at all.
That is fine, no problem at all. My mum has deserted us today, so it is just the 3 or potentially 2 of you, which is fine. Yes, so we might as well begin. So just turn yourselves on mute if I'll do it for you, Sheila. There we go, sorted. Okay, big gulp of tea. Perfect. Okay, so let's take our parallel stance. Roll the shoulders back, relax them completely. Make sure your hands are relaxed, everything's relaxed, knees are soft. Just close your eyes and start with your breathing. So remember, we want to take lovely deep breaths in through the nose. And exhale, release that air out through the mouth. Grow even taller through the bottom of the feet and the top of the head. Lovely deep inhale, fill those lungs up. Exhale, grow even taller. Think about that elongation through the spine, nice space between the chin and the chest. Just slow that breathing down. Forget the stresses of life, close those eyes and just focus on your breathing for a few peaceful moments. And again, remember those spaces between each vertebrae on the spine. Think about growing taller and taller each time you exhale. Lovely. Okay, so let's go into a full body stretch, taking both the hands up. You can link those fingers together if you please, and onto the toes if you're happy to, of course. And breathing there, remember you've always got the option of closing those eyes. Lovely deep breaths. Keeping everything strong to help you keep that balance. And being aware of how your feet wobble. Lovely. So we're going to take those hands behind us. So you can push out if you're comfortable doing so. If you're not, just stretch out behind. And think about lengthening through the front of the body, so the front of the neck, the chest, the abdominal. So it's a bit like a V stretch, but our arms are lower down. And take a few breaths there as well. Feel that through the biceps and the pectorals. Okay, wonderful. Let's release that. We're going to center our heads and stretching off the neck just by swaying from side to side, gently trying to create a slightly bigger movement each time you rotate. Still breathing the whole time. Slow it down so that you can feel that stretch at the end of each rotation. Try to keep that face focused in front of you. Lovely deep breaths all the time, keeping those shoulders relaxed, of course, and allowing the whole of the rest of the body to rotate. I'm going to do a couple more on each side. One more on each side. Wonderful. Coming back to center, going into a new rotation exercise. So all we're doing is having those feet, like in ballet first position, so slightly turned out and about hip width apart. And we're just going to rotate towards that right foot and stretch up through the hands, lifting that back leg. Now, if you're not comfortable lifting the leg, you can keep it on the mat as so. And then back to center. And then we'll stretch in the other direction. So we want to be inhaling when we stretch. Exhale back to center. Oh, inhale when we stretch. So this is rotation and balancing all in one. Remember, you have that option to keep that back foot on the mat if you prefer. Inhale, stretch and hold. Lovely. Inhale, stretch and hold. Let's do 2 more on each side. Think about reaching from fingertip to the tip of the toe. We're doing 1 more on each side. Reach. And your final repetition through your final exercise there. Wonderful. Let's just stretch those arms off by placing one across the body and holding it in with the opposite arm. Take a couple of breaths there. Coming back into our parallel stance as well. And let's swap that with the other arm. Just stretching that off. You can rotate the wrist as well if you want. Noticed recently from too much gardening, I'm finding it more and more painful to wave, which is really sad. So quite an enthusiastic waver. Okay, let's do some side stretching. So make sure those shoulders are rolled back, lovely parallel stance. We're going to do our normal simple side stretch. And then we're going to alternate by reaching up and stretching over on the other side. So allowing yourself to lower, take a nice deep breath in at the end. Exhale as you move, stretching up and over, and then breathe in. So just sticking with that right arm for now. Inhale. Exhale, reaching up and over. And you can circle that back down. Remember, inhaling as you stretch, exhaling as you move. Try and get a bit further each time you repeat. And remember to keep yourself parallel to the wall in front of you. Don't forget this other arm. You want to keep that completely relaxed. Make sure you're not hunching up that shoulder. Inhale, stretch. Let's do 2 more on that side. Reach and lengthen 1 more on that side. And reach, hold that a couple more breaths. Wonderful. We're going to carry on the other side. So let's reach first. And then just dropping down to the side. And reach. Keep that opposite shoulder relaxed. Remember, you're breathing in as you stretch. Breathing out as you move. Remember not to allow your chest to tilt forwards or backwards, keeping that bottom shoulder relaxed as well. Making sure the jaw is also relaxed. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, reach. Let's do 2 more on this side as well. Trying to get a little bit further if we can. 1 more. Remember, we started with that reach this time, so we'll end by lowering that arm down the leg, coming back to center. Let's roll those shoulders. Lovely deep breaths coming forwards. Wonderful. Just coming back to center. We're just going to do some gentle leg lifts. So we'll take our feet together. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, all we're doing is lifting that left leg up to the side. Inhale back to center. Let's repeat on the other side. Inhale back to center. So this is continuing with that abductor work. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lift. Try and squeeze it up at the top. Inhale back to center. So the abductors are the ones where you lift the leg, and the adductors are the ones when you're pulling them back together. So I'm not sure how clearly it translates over a recording, because they have very similar names. Exhale, lift. Inhale back to center. Remember, you want to keep those shoulders relaxed. And allow that body to sway as well. Oh, try not to lose balance. Let's do 2 more on each side. Into your last one on each side. Wonderful stuff. Let's go into one final full body stretch before coming down into our roll down. So through the toes, reaching from fingertip to tip of toe, head central. Lovely. Okay, let's come back to our mat. Coming into our roll down, so we want to be taking our parallel stance. Lovely deep inhale, tiny waist, stretch through the front of the neck and the front of the torso as well. On the exhale, roll those shoulders forwards and articulating that spine as we go down vertebrae by vertebrae, as far as we can go. Knees are soft, deep inhale at the end. Exhale, pivot tailbone, follow that with the rest of the spine. At the top, rolling those shoulders back again, length through the front of the body. Inhale. And exhale to repeat. We know what we're doing. But always remember, relax the arms, relax the head. Use that pelvic floor, as well as the glutes and the hamstrings. Trying to stretch that a little bit further each time you repeat. And remembering to breathe the whole time, of course. Okay, let's do one more short roll down. And then we'll go into our 2 elongated exercises. So when you're ready, lovely deep breath in at the top again. And then coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. And we're going to go for that elbow hold. So just cradling those elbows, just holding them, allowing that stretch through the back of the neck. So trapeze, lovely stretch through the upper back. And triceps as well. In fact, just through everywhere on the back of the body, really. Taking some lovely deep breaths. Make sure that head is relaxed. Remember, if you are uncomfortable at any point, please just come out of it and into a full body stretch on the mat. Remember, on your exhales, you can try and stretch that a little bit further. Okay, let's take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, coming back up, vertebrae by vertebrae, tailbone pointing down. Follow that with the rest of the spine. Open chest, inhale. And we're going to repeat that one more time. And cradle the elbows. Try and swap which arm is on the bottom if you can remember. And we're just going to hold that. Allow yourselves to stretch. Head completely relaxed. Keep breathing, lovely deep Pilates breathing. Gosh, I'm so tired today. I feel like I could fall asleep in this position, but that's not a good idea. Okay, making sure the backs of those legs feel really stretched off. Because next we're going to come into downward dog. And again, we're just going to hold it for a few breaths. So releasing those arms, crawling forwards. We want to be in an inverted V shape with the back flat and the legs flat as well. Try and get those heels down onto the mat if you can. Might need to just readjust a little bit and take a few breaths. So you're kind of pushing those shoulders down towards the mat, pushing those heels towards the mat as well. Lovely stuff. Okay, let's gently crawl out of that. And we're going into our seated mermaid. So remember, you've always got the option to place a cushion underneath your bottom. And there's also the option to sit with those knees central instead of to the side. Otherwise, we want them one on top of the other. Just kind of relax to the side. Lovely deep inhale, tiny waist. On the exhale, reaching up and over, you can go either onto a straight arm or bent arm, leaning on that forearm. Lovely deep inhale at the end. Exhale. So that left arm is going onto the left knee. And then we're stretching the other side. Exhale as you move. Try and use that core strength the whole time. Inhale as you stretch. Face pointing forwards, chest pointing forwards. No leaning forwards or backwards with that chest. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Deep inhale. And remember that lovely space between the chin and the chest. that core strong. Lovely flowing movement. We're going to do one more repetition after this one on each side. We've already done a bit of side bending, so we don't need to go for too long. Let's do last one on each side. Wonderful. Let's go into our mermaid stretch. So coming up into that lovely diagonal line, and then folding both arms so the palms are on the mat, and you're trying to put pressure on the opposite hip down onto the mat. Remember, you still want space between the chin and the chest. Don't hug that chin into the chest. And just holding that there for a few breaths. Okay, lovely stuff. Let's come back to center. We're going to do some spine stretch forward, and then we'll carry on with the opposite side of the seated mermaid. This is an exercise that I find quite challenging, so I'm sorry guys. Lovely deep inhale. Might just be me. Remember, you want to imagine there's a lovely big ball here, and you are arching over it, straight from the side. Exhale, coming down. Remember that space between the chin and the chest, arms up into the air. Inhale, use that core to step back up, stretch up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pivot down. And inhale, use that core, really engage that core as you come back up. Exhale, down. Inhale, coming back up, reach through those fingertips. Keep those feet flexed, hips anchored to the floor on each side. Inhale, core strength, stretching up. Exhale, down. Remember, you do have that progression where instead of coming back up, you're stretching towards the top corner of the room and then rounding down again. So it's up to you which one you choose. So either straight back up, stretching towards the ceiling. Exhale, coming down. Or making that body into a nice diagonal line, stretching towards the corner of the ceiling and the wall. Exhale, down. Let's do 3 more. Keep that core strong. 2 more. Keep those feet flexed. Shoulders relaxed. Your last repetition. Wonderful. Coming back to center. Again, I'm going to face towards you. We're just going to go into a trapeze stretch. So just holding that head, stretching off these lovely big muscles in the neck. Just taking a few breaths there. Again, you can kind of adjust the positioning to wherever you're feeling tension. Lovely stuff. Let's release and stretch on the other side. So that other arm, just to intensify the stretch, just place it on the mat, reaching away as far as you can. And again, you can almost massage that stretch by just moving that head ever so slightly. Okay, wonderful stuff. Let's come back to center. We're going to finish that mermaid, seated mermaid on the other side. So try and remember which side you're on before. Lovely deep inhale. And remember either onto straight up or onto your forearm. Lovely deep breath in, making sure we're not leaning forwards or back. Use that core strength. And this time, right hand goes onto the right knee. Lovely deep breath in. Make sure that bottom shoulder is relaxed. Exhale to move. Inhale, lovely stretch. Keep on breathing the whole time. Trying to use that core strength as much as you can. Making sure we're not leaning forwards or backwards. Staying parallel to the wall in front of us. Let's do one more on each side. Wonderful stuff. Coming back to center. Roll those shoulders back again. Let's go into our mermaid stretch on this side. So diagonal line. And then folding over. Both palms flat on the mat. And again, kind of pushing against it with the opposite hip. So pushing that hip into the mat as much as you can. Keeping that head in a neutral position. Take a few breaths there. Focusing again on your Pilates breathing. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling, releasing the air out through the mouth. Let's release that, and we're going to come back onto our backs. Remember, you can always support your head with a little cushion. Making sure the shoulders are tucked underneath, palms facing upwards. Let's go into some head nods. So looking up towards the wall above us, with the chin pointing up to the ceiling. And then chin going down towards the chest, squishing it in there. And then looking up towards the wall above you. Keeping those shoulders relaxed the whole time. So inhale as you look up. Exhale as you expel that breath. And make sure those legs are in a nice parallel position to one another, nice space between the bottom and the heels. Let's make that movement smaller and smaller. Rocking that head back and forth until you found your neutral position. This time we're going to take a deep inhale, engaging through the pelvic floor and closing the gap between the lower back and the mat as we start to set neutral. Exhale to release. Inhale, engage and closing that gap. Exhaling, releasing. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Inhale, engage. Exhale to release. Inhale, engage even stronger this time. Exhale, release. Inhale, pulling in even stronger through that pelvic floor. Exhale. Inhale as strong as you possibly can. Exhale, releasing that. And again, as strong as you possibly can. Let's hold that for a few breaths. Gently release and find that neutral position where you're about halfway in between, so there's a small gap between the lower back and the mat. And you'll be pulled in at least 30% of the way. So we're going to take those weights and just place them either side of the hips. Remember, with these arm exercises, we can come up into tabletop, or we can keep those feet on the mat. So up to you, whichever you choose. So let's just lift those arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, let's roll those shoulders, stretching towards the ceiling even more. Inhale, release shoulder blades. And exhale, sliding those shoulders out from underneath. Inhale to release. Exhale, stretching towards that ceiling. Inhale to release. Exhale, just focusing on those shoulders. But obviously remembering that you've got strength coming from that core as well. Let's do 3 more of those. Now to release. Exhale, stretch. 2 more. Inhale, release. Let's come to our last one. Inhale to release. Wonderful stuff. Okay, we're going to exhale. We're going to drop those arms out to the side, coming into that T-shaped position. And on the inhale, we're not just going to come back to center, but we're going to cross those arms over our chest. So one underneath, one on top, getting a nice stretch through the trapeze again. And exhale, open up. Again, coming into that T-shaped position, making sure we're not relaxing on the floor at any point. Inhale, back to center and crossing over again. You want to swap which arm is on top each time. Exhale, open up. Inhale, back to center and cross over. Exhale to open. Inhale, crossing over. Exhale to open. Inhale, crossing over. Let's do 2 more repetitions. And your last one. Wonderful stuff. Let's gently and with control release your weights. You can place those aside. We're going to come out of tabletop and we're going to go into some shoulder bridges. Take a deep breath in, closing that gap between the lower back of the mat. I'm peeling that spine off the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae, coming up into shoulder bridge. Deep inhale at the top. Exhale. Articulating as you come back down. Breathing in at the end. Exhale to repeat. Inhale at the top. Exhale to articulate that spine as you place it back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Keep that jaw relaxed. Exhale as you come up. Remember, engage those glutes at the top. Still want a space between the chin and the chest. So go to add your optional progression. So once we come up into shoulder bridge, we're going to lift those arms up as well. So starting narrow, deep breath in, coming out of shoulder bridge. Inhale at the end, back up. And then we want to open the arms and open those knees as well so that our stance is wide. Coming back out to shoulder bridge, deep inhale at the end. And then back up. So again, just kind of changing where we're experiencing that effort. Narrow again, so placing those arms back together and knees close together as well. You can also do this without the arms, so you can just alternate between wide and narrow knees, so wide or narrow. So whichever works for you, whichever progression. Remember to keep your breathing, so inhaling as you stretch, exhaling as you're rolling up and down. Back into wide. Keeping strong. Let's do one more in each position. So narrow again. And finally, wide again. Coming back up. And then we'll release those arms, knees back in neutral, and release that shoulder bridge. Plugging those knees into the chest to release the glutes. Let's start with clockwise circles. And go to anti-clockwise. And then just pulling in wherever you're feeling the tension. And we'll go into those ankles. Lovely stuff. And let's go into a full body stretch as well. Oh, that was close. I nearly forgot the 100, but don't worry, we'll do it after we stretch. I know you'll never forgive me if I forget it. Wonderful. Okay, so coming back into our lying down position. So remember, you've got options with the legs, either feet flat on the mat, or in tabletop, or straight legs, whichever one works best for you. Take a deep inhale and engage through the core. On the exhale, just bring your legs to whichever position you want to go into. Inhale when you're there, and exhale, reach through those fingertips. Remember, in that space between the chin and chest. Inhale, we're coming back to the mat. And exhale, stretching through fingertips. Inhale, back to the mat. Exhale, stretch, keeping that lovely elongated position. Inhale, back to the mat, one more. And we're going to hold it up there, tiny waist. Let's inhale, pulse. And out. That's 10. And out. 20 in. And out. 20 in. And out. 40 in. And out. 50 in and out, 60 in and out, 70 in and out, 80 in and out, 90 in and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your 100. Let's hug those knees into the chest again. And again, just massage it off. You can rock from side to side or circle those knees around, whatever works for you. Taking a few lovely deep breaths. Wonderful stuff. Okay. So we are going to roll over onto our fronts when we're ready. Just coming into a normal position. So remember, you want those elbows and shoulders at right angles. And you can also support that forehead with a cushion if you choose to. Up to you. Make sure those shoulders are relaxed. Just release the feet as well. We're going to take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're just going to roll those shoulders down. So just articulating those shoulders. Inhale, release. Exhale, shoulders. Inhale, release. And exhale, roll those shoulders. Inhale, release. Exhale, shoulder roll. So just carry on with that exercise. Making sure you're articulating those shoulders completely. Really trying to get lovely big circles out of them. Wonderful. So let's follow those shoulders with a chest lift. Inhale, release. Exhale, shoulder roll. Lift that chest. No pressure on the arms. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, shoulder roll, chest lift. Inhale, back to center. So not pushing on those arms at all. Inhale, release. Exhale, follow those shoulders. Inhale, release. So your third option, of course, as ever, is to include the arms as well. So shoulders, chest, and arm lift. Inhale, release, back to mat. Exhale, shoulders, chest, and arm lift. Inhale, back to mat. Exhale, shoulders, chest, and arm. We're going to add a final progression. And that is while you're up here, you're going to inhale, squeeze those shoulder elbows together behind you. Exhale, reach out in front of you. Inhale, squeezing those elbows and shoulders together behind you. Exhale, reaching out in front of you. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can lift those legs as well. Inhale, squeezing, opening that chest up. Exhale, reaching forwards. Inhale, squeezing, lift up the chest. Exhale, reaching forwards. Let's do 3 more. We've not done swimming for a while. Maybe I'll include that in our next class. 2 more. This is kind of like swimming, isn't it? And your last repetition. Exhale, stretch and release. We're going to fold ourselves over into a shell stretch. And reaching through those fingertips. Releasing those shoulders and that back. Taking some lovely deep breaths there. And then crawling around to the right hand side, thinking about that length all the way through that left side of the body. It's a lovely release for those lats. Make sure those big muscles in the kind of center of the back. Okay, and crawling those arms over to the other side. And taking a few lovely deep breaths there too. So today I'm going to treat us with a longer warm-up, cool down than usual, because it's nice to get time to do our chalk circles, isn't it? So we're going to go into those next. Just take a couple more breaths in this position though. Okay, lovely. So what we want to do is take a block or cushion and place it underneath our heads. So just lying on your side, facing towards me. We're going to have bent knees, arms stretched out in front of us. Remember, you can take one of those weights in your hands if they're handy, please. We'll start with some clam stretches with the arms. So lovely deep inhale. And on the exhale, let's lift that top arm, open it up and over. Looking towards that wall behind you. Trying to stay in that T shape, just go back as far as you can. And hold that stretch for a couple of breaths. Okay, let's come back to center. And let's do that again. So lovely deep inhale. And on the exhale, opening up. Gently and with control. And stretching into that shoulder, to the inside of the shoulder. Okay, let's go back to center. Again, gently with control. And then we will go into our beautiful chalk circle stretches. So remember, just circling up. Pulls that wall above the head. And circling behind. Really feeling wherever that tension is and just lingering in that position. Stretching off wherever you're feeling that tension. And kind of go back and forth over that spot gently if you want to. And once you've finished your first chalk circle, you're going to take a deep breath in and you're going to exhale as you come in the opposite direction. So circling that hand down towards those feet and then around behind you. So this is one of those exercises we want to do in our own time. So just keep on breathing, remembering you're wanting to alternate the direction of the circle each time you come back to that other arm. Remembering to hold that position where you feel the tension as much as you wish. course, thinking about your lovely deep Pilates breaths the whole time. Wonderful. So we're going to try and do one more pair of circles, but obviously depending on how quickly you'll be going. Keep on breathing. So we'll be coming to the end of our last chalk circle on this side around now. And when you are finished with that, just place that weight on your other side. And when you're ready, we're just going to rotate straight onto the other side. So again, I'm going to turn my back to you for space reasons, but I know you know what you're doing. So. And we want to take that weight in the other hand to make sure those arms are both straight in front of you, knees are bent again to support you. We're going to take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to open that arm up like a book and follow it coming into that T position. So making sure it's not going up towards the ear. We want to keep it in a straight line from the opposite arm, and then releasing as far as you can go, making sure you're following that arm with the head. Taking a few breaths there as you feel that stretch through those pectoral muscles, tricep, and again in that lower and central back as well from that rotation. So catching those intercostal muscles, so thinking about that space and stretch through the rib cage as well, through that rotation. Okay, and your next exhale, we're going to rotate, closing that back up again. Back to center, take a deep breath in and repeat it on the exhale. Remember, you want to be in a straight line from one arm to the other. Taking a few breaths and feeling that stretch. Okay, and closing that again. And we're going to come into our chalk circles on this side. So same as before, reaching up towards that wall above the head. Following that with the head as well. Coming around wherever you're feeling that tension. Slow down. Stretch it up. once you finish that first circle, remember you're going down in the opposite direction towards the feet. Each time you finish, take a deep inhale and exhale to start your new one. Just making sure you're taking your deep Pilates breaths throughout the exercise as well. Okay, so I'm coming into my final 2 repetitions. Final 1 in each direction, I mean. Wonderful stuff. So we should all be coming to the end of whichever repetition we're on around now. In our own time. And when you are finished, just release that weight to the side and let's come onto our backs, allowing those hips to drop, those knees to drop in either direction and just go into a butterfly stretch. From lying down with the soles of the feet facing one another. Think about those lovely deep breaths. Think about directing that breath all the way to the tips of the fingers and the tips of the toes. Exhale, release that breath out until you can't breathe out another breath. Inhale, sending that breath into that stretch. Exhale, release completely. Make sure those shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, filling those lungs up. Pushing that breath out as you exhale. Okay, so gently and in your own time, you're just going to roll over onto your side and bring yourself back up to a standing position. With feet parallel to one another. And let's just come with some backward circles. Inhaling as you go up. Exhaling, push. Hiccup. Inhaling up. Exhale, push down. Inhale up. Exhale, push down in the opposite direction. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, push that air up. Inhale onto the toes if you're happy to. Exhale, push out. And inhale. Drop those heels, coming straight into that final roll down. Take a few breaths there. Really stretching through the backs of the legs again. Okay, stacking back up vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll those shoulders back and release. And again, a nice little jiggle if you feel that you want to. We're all finished. So thank you guys for attending our lonely little session.
Thank you. It's a very nice stretch.
Yeah,
I suppose I felt longer.
good. It's nice, yeah, because those arm stretches, they take about 10 minutes, but they're just so lovely, aren't they? So
It made such a difference.
yeah, exactly. I'll make sure I include them more often, shall I? Okay. Well, have a lovely week, both of you.
Thank you, Heidi, and you. And that was really beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.